Knowing a bunch of jazz guitar voicings is fantastic, but you have to know how to use them. In this lesson, I'm going to help you learn how to use things such as drop 2 chords and extended chords in jazz standards by teaching you 3 different jazz guitar comping etudes. So pick up your guitar and let's get into this. Greetings jazz guitar gurus, my name is Jamie Holroyd and in today's session I'm going to teach you 3 different comping etudes. Before you dive into these, I really recommend that you've got a good grasp of jazz guitar chords. Things such as chords with the root on the 6th and 5th string, drop 2 chords and extended chords. These are all used in these comping studies, so if you know these then you're going to be in much better standing to learn these etudes rather than struggling with a bunch of chords which you do not know. If you'd like to find out any more information about these chords, then I have a full course available called Beginner Jazz Guitar Chords, which is listed and linked below. Let's begin by looking at a jazz blues chord solo. Here's how this one sounds. The techniques in this etude can be used to either comp for another musician, or you can actually use this as a basis for your own chord solo. When you first look at the music, you'll see things like tritone substitution being used all the time. That's basically a way of getting to the chord which you need to get to. For example, a B flat blues starts on a B flat 7 chord, and here we have a B7 approaching that B flat 7 chord each time. So you can either think of that as being tritone substitution, or you can just think of approaching each of the chords from the semitone up. This substitution works because you keep coming back to the chord in question, you keep referencing the chord that you meant to get to. So even though the typical jazz blues chords are not always referenced here, this is completely compatible with the standard jazz blues progression. So if you're playing with another guitar player or a bass player which is using a normal jazz blues progression, you can absolutely use these techniques and they'll sound just fine. The second tune that we're going to be looking at is Wave. This is a classic bossa nova tune and it sounds like this. Any of the comping techniques that you've just heard can be used in any bossa nova tune. So tunes like Blue Bossa and The Girl from Ipanema will work well using this type of approach. When playing bossa nova, you just want to remember that you want to keep things nice and steady. You don't want to do anything too fancy that's going to detract from the groove of the music. So bass wise, I'm keeping things pretty simple. I'm playing the root, sometimes adding the 5th, but rarely going beyond that. Most of the voicings are pretty basic too. Occasionally I'll just use a 9th or a 13th just to kind of make things a little bit more spicy and make the chords a little bit more interesting. There is a little bit of harmonic movement going on in the turnaround, the part where we've got the F sharp chord. We have some extended chord movement going on there. But other than that, I'm trying to really keep the groove as sturdy and relaxed as I possibly can. This third and final study is over Duke Ellington's classic Satin Doll. The techniques in this etude work better for creating chord solos rather than comping. You could perhaps use some of the techniques while comping, but I would recommend keeping the dynamics soft and quiet, perhaps using your thumb so that you're not too intrusive on the soloist. Harmonically speaking, most of the chords don't have a root note, but this solo works best when you're playing with a bass player or a full band, although you could adapt some of the chords to have bass notes if you wanted. most of them will sound just fine as they are. Which one of these comping studies did you enjoy the most? Please share your thoughts in the comment section below. I'd love to find out. I hope that you enjoyed playing and working through these comping studies. The best way to test and to learn this stuff is to try and comp with other musicians as much as possible. Jazz is a social music. Comping means accompanying someone else. So although you can practice this to an extent at home by yourself, you really need to go and test these concepts with other musicians to see how they work. If you enjoyed this lesson and you'd like more content like this, then please don't forget to subscribe. And if you found this lesson valuable, then please give this lesson a like. Thanks for watching.